Hey guys, it's Justin here, and I promised to make a video showing you why I'm in love with the 512 tick chart along with the 200 moving average and the VWAP on there. Now we are here, it's Thursday morning, December 30th, 2021, and did my analysis this morning. It was pretty gross. Like if we step out and we look at our 30-minute chart here, it's been, we had a great Santa Claus rally. This was Monday morning lows of last week, and you can see we just got this straight push up and eventually got up to the all-time highs, and then we've been sideways here for 2 days. Now, despite the fact that we've been chopping like this in this fairly tight range, this 512 chart, I'll go ahead and zoom up here, is a chart that I love, and this is a trade that I took right out of the open. So we opened here, let's get the actual timestamp right here where you see me circling my cursor. And right around this point, we started to make a little pattern that looked like we might very well bounce right out of here and start moving out right off the 200. Now, I was looking at my VWAP lining up with my key level here, 8650. Now, this is a level that every morning it's going to be different, but this level is absolutely amazing. Not only that, it was right around that 38% retracement of this overnight leg, and I decided I'm gonna just put a trade right here at 8650. And if it pulls back down into this area, even if it overshoots, maybe even to the 50% retrace, maybe even all the way to the 61, I still could potentially hold in this trade and get this push. Now, for any of you that knows how I trade, I typically do not take more than 2 points of risk. Holding all the way to 83 might not have been my trade. I might have jumped out and then re-entered if I saw the reaction I wanted to see or saw the signal. But neither here nor there. The VWAP, the 200 moving average, two amazing things to look at. And we'll just look here on the tick chart. Now, remember, nothing works 100% of the time, right? In fact, some things only work 40 or 50% of the time, but with good risk management, which really is the name of the game in trading, you can potentially become a very successful trader. So, looking at this 200, typically this is going to be something you use for some type of trend trade. So usually when the market starts to trend, which it hasn't for the last 2 days, you'll get the really nice reaction. So this is a little micro example. Actually, right here is a great example. We start to sell off, and it starts to go in the bearish direction, and the market will come up right into the 200 moving average and fail. And this is not anything, this isn't new. You can look at any moving average when you start to get into a trend. More than likely, if it's the right time period, you're going to see these type of reactions happen. And this is a great example. The market starts to make these lower lows, lower highs, starts to look like we're going to pull back here. And it comes right up and eventually starts to break below VWAP here, gets below, comes up right to the back end of it and sells off. Comes right up to the back end of the 200 again in this downtrend, sells off, and then eventually you see it comes back up and starts to find support and then continue higher. And then there's another aspect to reading this chart, and that is looking at the VWAP and the 200 in relation to price. And typically when you have the 200 above the VWAP, that is your bullish indication in the market. So right when this started to cross here, that add to the fact that you're starting to make higher highs, higher lows, and you have this cross, that's telling you that there is potential that the market could potentially come up, maybe test the highs from back here. So as you can see, market gets the cross, right? And then we get the continuation to the upside. Now, eventually it fails because, again, we've been sideways here for the whole, 2.5 days now. But just to show you, even in a sideways market, you can get these reactions. It comes down, comes right to it, sometimes to the tick, sometimes breaks it by 2 or 3 ticks, and then continues. So you see this stuff over and over again, and this is just an example of a completely sideways market, and it still tends to hold. You can see for a long time here, holding below the 200. And again, it's not clean. It doesn't work every time. Here's a great example of below the 200, breaking out above it, pulling back, bouncing right out of it there, then coming back, retesting it, and continuing to go. Continuing to go. And again, it's especially in a sideways market, it's going to be choppy, it's going to be messy. But typically, when you start to get these trends in a direction, especially on a trending day where it's not as sideways as this VWAP, this 200 becomes major money. And so this morning, again, I just want to go through this trade, and I'll give you a little quick video of proof that I actually took the trade, because I can sit here and find the perfect setup and said I took it. But if I don't have any proof, then what's the point? So I will share the video where I pull up my dome. I pull my dome up onto the screen. You see it fill at 5 points. I think you see my entry right, like right as it's filling, but you can see my entry was right there at 86.50. A textbook setup. We got this potential push out of the overnight low. We were pulling back, and I noticed that 38% retracement of this leg was right where all these previous resistances were, right where this bounce was, and right where the VWAP and the 200 were sitting. I was a little more conservative. Rather than taking it off the 200, I put it right here at the VWAP, and again, right into it. Broke my trade by one tick, and now here we are. Now I took a quick 5 point scalp. I don't really plan on trading today. Oh, and look at that. We just pulled back and bounced right off VWAP. Now, whether it holds or not, that's, in my opinion, not the important part. The important part is it came down right to VWAP, and we're finding a little bit of a hiccup here. Now, if it does end up holding, that would be a beautiful thing here for the case that I'm making this morning in this video. But again, a push right up for about 10 points, right off 86. It looks like 12 points up. Right into the 27 extension was 4,800. So it came right in front of it, found a little trouble, got a bearish divergence, and came down right to VWAP here. And if the bulls were strong, a lot of times they come down, there's a little hiccup and maybe a second test, and then they really push right out of there. So I hope this helps, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to send me a message. I do run a trade room every morning, and we look at these charts right here. I've got my 30-minute, got my 10-minute for the larger picture and mapping out areas to look for reactions in the market. And then I've got my 1 minute, my 512 for entries, and my 3 minute for kind of an intermediate time frame. So send me a message if you're interested. And again, any questions, I'll try my best to help out. Have a great day. Bye-bye.